Evening, welcome to Shed Sunday. Slightly different format this week. I was hoping to do this as an Instagram live, but I managed to close my boot on my phone, so that's no longer functioning. So I'm just running it off the Amazon rip-off GoPro, the DragonTouch, and let's see how this comes out. So yeah, carrying on with the theme of festive decorations. Last week's little snowmen. I've just popped a wee eyelet in them this evening, just so we can hang them on the tree. But what we're going to work on this evening is a festive little reindeer. I did a couple of these with homemade groups this week. Came out alright. Just trying to manage all the hand tools at the same time was probably a bigger task than the actual build itself. So fairly straightforward. That's quite a small scale one, so I guess you can scale this up as big or as small as you want, depending on where in the house it's going to be. I don't think these will work as well as sort of Christmas tree ornaments, because actually finding a point where they'll hang, but you know, sit on a mantelpiece, something like that, they do the part. So what we've done, just to speed things up a little bit, so you don't, I'm not sort of jabbering on. There we go. This is still the hazel from last week, actually, and the proportions we're going for this evening is about a hand width for the body and about 2 fingers for the head. So I've trimmed them down already. I was using a coping saw. It works alright, nice sort of fine cut. You need to take your time a little bit. It's probably not the best blade. But to be honest, a tool I use an awful lot are these snips. These are the style that have the ratchet in, so if you are working through something quick, it does make it fairly light work. Processed a lot of willow this week, getting ready for the wreaths, and these were a godsend. So what we've done, we have trimmed body down, and then about sort of 2 finger widths for the head. So the head can just be sort of straight cylinder, but what I'm going to do today is sort of slant the face a little bit, just to give it a more obvious sort of nose feature. And again, all of this can be done with our trusty Swiss Army knife. And what I have done actually is using the reamer or the awl, I've started to drill out the holes for the legs and neck. Now, something I did notice was a little bit fiddly is actually trying to make sure that the angle matches on each of these. Otherwise you end up with quite a wonky donkey or a wonky reindeer. What I did find quite useful was marking up first, so actually doing sort of one straight line, marking the 2 spots for the legs, rotate, mark another line, mark the 2 spots for the legs, and when using the reamer, trying to make sure you're going straight through towards the pith and not off at a little angle. Can help sometimes to do a bit of a pilot hole. This little bradawl here, really fine tip. That can be quite useful. Actually, I'll try that on the head in a bit. So once you've made your holes, we're gonna pop some legs in it. Now, interestingly, I'm just using one branch. I snipped this earlier on without paying too much attention. And of course, as a branch, it starts off thick and sort of tapers in and gets thinner and thinner. So I've tried to get 4 legs of sort of equal thickness. But of course, it's not going to fit in the hole. I'm going to chamfer the end a little bit. So let's take that to a bit of a point. The kind of, sort of pointy, not quite toothpick end, but I do want it to taper out just to help wedge in. So there's one leg. Same very quickly with the other. Actually, that one's the thinnest end. I wonder. Just take the bark off that. That's probably about ready to go in as is. There we go. in. I might give that a little bit of persuasion in a minute. Do the other two. These are getting a bit thicker, so I'm going to just take more material off. Be really interested to hear if any of you have had a go at the Snowmen. I've seen a couple on the Instagram over the last week. I think Luke at Wild and Wild Bushcraft, you've done some. Dan, I think I saw you do a couple. Yeah, love to hear what other festive things you guys are getting up to. Not long now, 5 weeks. Quite strange in our family. We've got lots of birthdays right at the end of the year, so just waiting to get all of them out of the way, so that then we can focus on Christmas. And if plans out like everyone's saying, we might actually have a bit of wintry weather this week. Might be getting a little bit of snow here in Leicester. Fingers crossed. I mean, we're in a valley. We always miss it. But yeah, it's just that little bit magical when you get it. There we are. So just tapping in a couple of legs. On we go. Now for the neck. The neck ends up being a little bit shorter than the legs. So what do I do? About 3 fingers for a leg and 2 for the neck. So the neck's about as long as the body, the head rather, is long. But same deal. I'm going to chamfer either end down to points on the body. I've already drilled that hole with the reamer, the awl on the Swiss Army knife. You just now need to trim up the head. A little bit smaller. One thing that became really apparent when I did these with the kids in the week is getting the holes for the legs fairly uniform. I think you can see here. So you've got a good, quite a closed angle there. By the time we got to the end, the hand drills weren't working, so we broke out the power tools and we were starting to end up a little bit wider. Some were fairly spread eagle, and afterwards it just took time just to trim them all so they actually sat flush. But yeah, they turned out alright. They looked, you could tell what they were. They looked like reindeers. So that neck's in there. Now I'm going to trim the head end of the neck. So it's a bit chilly in here this evening. Definitely dropped. Nose is on constant drip mode now. Alright, so there we go. One neck done. Now this is the head. Yeah. So we've gone for the slight slope there for the nose, just to be a bit more prominent. I've marked with the awl 2 bits on the head for the antlers. I'm just going to use this. Mark the neck, and with the reamer on where are we? Let's just arm in there. Let's see if I can get the. Let's start to remove some of the material. Now these awls are surprisingly sharp, and they do remove material extremely well. I'm just trying really hard to make sure I'm keeping this in line with the centre line. I mean, you can see how deep that's gone in already. What's that, ½ an inch, maybe a centimetre. Head fits on nicely. So there we go, we've got the head on. To make life a little bit easier, I'm probably just going to work on the head alone, and once I've got the antlers on, then mount it on the body. So the antlers coming off very similar to how the legs come out the body off it. So we've got that sort of Y shape. And what we've done for the antlers is actually just the end of the. This was a hazel branch I snipped for the legs, and it gives you quite an ornate sort of formation. Now it's just a case of trying to match some up. Yeah, I think they could work. I just trim them down a bit. with the snips. How long? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Alright, so we've done a little hole, because these are much thinner, don't need to go as deep with the oil here. I marked it, done that little sort of pilot with a bladle. A really thin gimlet would help here. So I can't get these deep enough in that they're not seated, I might just do that. Take some of the bark off it. There it goes. And if it's not sitting deep enough, I'm going to drill a deeper hole. Oh, spoke that. Yeah, I think I definitely benefit from a deeper hole. Try the other one. One downside of working with the green stuff is, especially if we bring it indoors, it's going to dry out a little bit. Things get a little bit wobbly, a little bit loose. A little bit glue goes a long way. There we go. Pop that head on. And there we have it. Our little festive reindeer. Decorate as you wish. I did drill a little hole there, so I might just put a little stubby tail on. But yeah, lovely little festive craft to go with our snowmen. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It'd be lovely to see what you guys can come up with. Yeah, please feel free to share it. I'd love to hear it, you know, who's watching these and who's making the most of it. But yeah, bro, thank you very much, folks, and hopefully next week back to normal. With a functioning phone, and I can get this up on Instagram on a live. Cheers guys, take care.